Oh, hello. My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. So today is my February haul day, and oh my gosh, if I thought that, I think my title for January was shameful because I was not supposed to be buying books for the move. Apparently, after that, I just said, fuck it, and just kept buying books. I bought so many books this month, and half of them came to my old address, so I paid to move, like, probably a half box extra just because I could not wait. Like, what? Guys, sometimes I just make bad choices, and I have to own that. I have to live in my truth. So anyway, I'm gonna put the clip of my first half of the month in first, and then we'll wrap up with the things that I had shipped to either my parents' house on my way here or that just showed up, which is very exciting. So let's go back to the past, and let's just see what kind of damage I did while I was still in my old place. Okay guys, I'm coming at you from the past. One of the last 2 videos I'm filming in this old house. Goodbye, house. By the time you are seeing this, I will be in a new place, and who knows what it will look like. I don't even know. I haven't found it yet. But anyway, so here are the books that I got before my move. Why did I do this? I don't know why I did this. Guys, like, I essentially have added another box of books to move since I knew I was going to be moving, and I just don't know why I did that, other than the fact that I'm a garbage person who can't make good decisions. Anyway, let's just get into this. Some of these I feel less bad about than others, but like, oh, and fuck it. I mean, I like all of it. So anyway, let's just do this. So, first let's talk about a few books that were on my most anticipated release video list. So if you'll remember, I picked, I think it was 13 off of my list of like 50 books that were coming out in this year that I was like, yeah, I actually really do want to get to those. And so I've decided that if it's available in hardback, then I'm gonna buy them when they come out. So some of these I got because they were coming out in hardback. For ones where it's not available in hardback, I'm gonna play it by ear if I'm gonna buy it as an ebook or buy it as audio. But anyway, so those 3 that I got because they came out in January and or February were The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I haven't read this yet, but it's super hyped, so I'm excited. The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, which is I can't tell if it's YA. It's definitely age-wise could be YA, but it's a fantasy novel. And then my first Zadie Smith book, Feel Free, and this is a collection of essays. So those are 3 off of that list of 13 that I definitely want to get to, that I kind of have committed to getting to. And then I also got Truly Devious, which was also in that video. And this was basically a moment of weakness because I really want to read this, and when I realized I was moving, I had to cancel my hold at the library, and I was like, I don't want to wait to get to the new place to have to put a hold again. So I went ahead and bought it, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. So those are ones that are sort of less egregious because they really are like ones that I plan to read imminently. The rest of these are slightly more egregious, but okay, let's just do this. So first, we've got Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Slutty by what's her name? Helen Peterson. And I've already read this book, so I'm not adding to my TBR at least, which is good, but I did want to own this in physical copy. Particularly, I really liked a couple. I liked the Too Fat chapter, which was about Melissa McCarthy. I thought that was really good. And then I also really liked, I liked the Too Slutty chapter with Nicki Minaj and the Too Strong chapter with Serena Williams. So I've owned that now. And then I think the rest of these are from Book Outlet, so they're a little bit on the random side. So first up, someday I'm going to read It by Stephen King. This is the only book that has scared me so much I stopped reading it within the first like 3 pages. So the opening scene with the balloon, that I was like, fuck this. So scary. But I want to try to get back to it at some point, so I like this edition that I've seen floating around, so glad to have that one. And then I got another Stephen King, because I've actually never read any Stephen King short stories, and you guys know, I think by now, that I really love short stories. So this was on Book Outlet, it's the Bazaar Broken Dreams, and yeah, I was like, I love short stories, I like what I've read of Stephen King, so I'm hoping that this will be a good, like, another way to explore him. Plus, I know people really like his novellas a lot. Like, apparently he's really good at them. And I could see that being a good way for me to enjoy Stephen King, because I do think that he tends to struggle with his endings. Like, I don't think he sticks the landing well very often. So the shorter form may actually be good. Then this one was on a list, I think that Ellen Powell put together, of great books, like business type books to read. And this was not available at my library, any of the libraries I have access to. So Weird in a World That's Not: A Career Guide for Misfits, Fuck-Ups, and Failures. So I think this will be an interesting one. Since I'm starting a new job, this might be kind of timing-wise appropriate. And then, let's see here. Only a few more here. I say that. It's more than that. American Heretics, Catholics, Jews, Muslims, and the History of Religious Intolerance. This is basically a history of non-Christian faith in America, and that's an area that I'm very interested in, so got this one off of Old Book Outlet. Then 2 YA entries. One I got because it's a Beauty and the Beast trope, and you guys know I love a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. It's called Wintersong by S Jae-Jones. Jae-Jones? I don't know. And yeah, I'm excited to get to this one at some point, but yeah, so YA number 1. YA number 2 is The Fixer by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. You guys know that I really, really love the, what's it called? The Naturals series. I thought that was just a great YA series. Really a nice thrill, like my kind of a thriller or like serial killer type book. I thought those were really fun. So this one's called The Fixer. I actually know nothing about this, but I really enjoyed that series, so I wanted to try something else from this author. And then, woo, just 2 more, I think. Yes, only 2 more. So it's not that bad, right? It could be worse. So we've got another fantasy. This is Cinda William Chima, and it's called Flamecaster. It's the first in her Shattered Realms series. I got this because I heard in her year-end wrap-up, Peru's Project was talking really highly about this author and her works. And yeah, I'm in a weird place where fantasy sounds really good to me right now, but I'm having a hard time like making myself just read it. So I've been in the mood to get more fantasy, and I don't know, I'm hoping that like I can make myself read some more, because yeah, it's sounding good to me these days, so I want to try to make time to get to it. So anyway, I thought having the first in a series might kind of motivate me to do that. And then last but not least, I have Suspense and Sensibility by Carrie Brebis. The reason I picked this up, this was on Book Outlet for like $2 or $3, something like that, and it's a Mr. and Mrs. Darcy mystery. I normally do not like continuations of Pride and Prejudice, like people writing the Darcys after they're married. I don't normally love that, but Sylvia Kay was recommending the first book in this series, and I, you know, since I already know that they're together and whatever, I didn't feel like it would be terrible for me to get the second book. I think the first one's called Pride and Prescience? Something like that. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm also doing the March Mystery Madness project in March. I'm co-hosting that whole thing. And yeah, this sounded like kind of a different, this isn't the usual type of mystery I would go for, so I thought this might work for the challenge where it was talking about like you have to pick something that you wouldn't normally go for. So like I don't usually like Mr. and Mrs. Darcy retellings or like sequels or whatever, but there's a mystery component, and I just thought that might be kind of a fun way to mix it up, especially if Sylvia Kay had read the first one and thought that it was actually like pretty good. So too many books, shouldn't have gotten them, but you know what, I know I'm gonna buy more. I know I'm gonna buy more, so that's the reason why this isn't the entirety of this haul. Like, I know for a fact that there's gonna be more books that come in this month. Hopefully I do that once I'm actually in my new place and don't need to worry about figuring out logistics of how to move them. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Okay, so back to the present, and let's start. I still have a lot more books to show you guys. So let's start with some classics I bought. So you guys know that I am collecting the Penguin cloth-bound editions with the Coralie Bickford Smith covers. I absolutely love these. I just think that, yeah, these are just books that I plan to have like basically for the rest of my life. And I track on Amazon. I need to finish my How I Get Books for Cheaper for Free video at some point, but one of the things I do is that I keep very close eye on the prices for physical books that I am interested in buying. And for whatever reason, in the middle of September, girl, it is not even kind of September. In the middle of February, a bunch of these went on sale and down to like $10 to $12 each, which is a very good price for these particular books. So I was like, I gotta strike while the iron's hot. So I told my parents, like, hey, guess what? A bunch of books are probably gonna start showing up at your door. So I got the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, which is, I have a lot of fond memories of reading this in college. I had a really good English class that we read that in. This one is a little shameful. So it's Moby Dick. And it's a beautiful book. I've said before that I've tried to read Moby Dick and failed, so why do I now own a nice copy of it? Is it because it's in the series? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that that I'm planning on cracking this open like tomorrow. So, okay, yeah, a little bit. But, you know, if and when the mood ever strikes that I actually want to try to finish this, I have a beautiful copy of it. So that's good, right? Of course that's good. Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. This is something I've always meant to read, and now I have a lovely copy for whenever that happens. And then I also got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which this is one of my favorite covers. I don't know if you can tell, but those are like hearts in a repeating pattern. I really like this one. Anyway, this is actually one that I have never read somehow, and I'm shocked. But I put it on my TBR for March Mystery Madness this month, so I'm hoping that I actually will rectify that this month. So those are the Penguin classics that I added to the mix. And then my reward to myself for passing the certification exam I took at the beginning of the month, and I cannot believe that was so short, such a short time ago, because it feels like an eternity ago. Anyway, I got a replacement of Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro in hardback as opposed to the paperback that I had. This is a very nice edition with like some deckled edges and whatnot. And I got this from Book Depository. So that was my like, good job you survived. Buy a hardback, replace your paperback. And then my mother actually, when she was in a used bookstore, got me 2 books, which was very sweet of her because she knows how much I love Agatha Christie. And she got me a very cool old edition of, cool old edition of the Seven Dials Mystery, which is one of my very favorites. This is just a really cool old book, which I will be happy to have on my shelves. And then she got me something that when I first glanced at it, I thought it said the bathroom reader or bathroom companion to Agatha Christie. It says something similar to that, but I was like, who? That's just such a strange topic for a bathroom reader. Anyway, it says the new bedside, bathtub, and armchair companion to Agatha Christie, which is a little more reasonable. So she got me both of those, which was very sweet of her because she knows how much I love Agatha. And then I placed a book outlet order. Now, there's a few things, there's at least 2 books in this that are slightly controversial, and I want to start this by saying I'm not looking to have any kind of intense discussion in the comments. I just don't think that that's the right forum for these kinds of things. There's some things that could incite some passion in folks, and I appreciate and respect that. I will tell you why I bought a couple of these books. Actually, let's just start with it while I'm giving this disclaimer. And then, you know, let's all just keep it civil. We're allowed to have differences of opinion and different things that we're interested in reading about. So the first one is called Life's Work, A Moral Argument for Choice by Dr. Willie Parker. And this is essentially a moral argument for abortion. I've heard some really, really good things about this. And I guess what I will say is, to me, the most important thing I can say about that issue, it was very instructive for me living in Canada and kind of getting the perspective that the rest of the world doesn't have such like insane and uncivil discussions about this as the US does, or many parts of the rest of the world don't have these crazy discussions. I would say that where I'm coming from is I think we can all agree that we would like abortion to not have to be a thing. Whether or not you ever think there's reason for it to quote unquote have to be is, let's not go there. But like in general, nobody is like, yay, abortion is awesome. So I really wish we would all focus on like, what can we actually tactically do to reduce the number of abortions? And there's some very good science and good data about what it would take to do that, which does not always align with the rest of the political agenda of people who are very against abortion. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And this is a very interesting book from what I've heard, and I'm interested to read it. So let's leave that little hot potato down here. And then the second one So I came, this is an interesting contradiction because stereotypically that was kind of a jab at people who were more on the right, and this might be more of a jab at people who are on the left. Next one is the Carnivore's Manifesto, Eating Well, Eating Responsibly, and Eating Meat. Again, I'm not interested in getting in any crazy discussions with people. I will just say that for me and my health, I have been eating almost entirely animal-based products recently, and I feel a lot better. And I'm very interested in getting those products from ethical and well-sourced places, but I nonetheless am a very carnivorous person these days. So I was interested in getting something that was kind of talking about the ethics and how to do that responsibly. So, controversy over. Let's get on to the rest of this book outlet haul, because I think the rest of these are a lot less spicy. So the first one is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Mcguire. Now I have the first book on ebook, which is called Every Hearted Doorway, and I kind of jumped the gun at getting this. I totally know I did, but like I just have heard so many good things about this series that when I saw this was on sale for I think like $4 or something, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna really like the series and want to continue in it. So I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and get the second book. I'm hoping March is supposed to be about mysteries, but I've been so in the mood to read fantasy that like, I don't know, I've got to, maybe April will just be like, April is fantasy month, I don't even know. But anyway, I'm interested in that. And actually, while we're on that note, do you guys ever like get on a kick with a booktuber, like somebody that you've kind of watched a little bit over the years, but then all of a sudden for some reason they just click and you watch a ton of them? So while I've been unpacking and stuff, the two things I've been watching is one is the new Queer Eye, which, oh my gosh, did that make me cry? And then I read a think piece that made me feel bad about liking it. Anyway, side note, I've been watching that. And then the other thing I've been watching is Thoughts on Tome, Sam, who is a pretty big booktuber. I just forgot how great she is and how much I enjoyed her content. So anyway, I got a free e-copy at some point of Truth Witch, but I saw that like these two together I think were $10, and she has been talking, like on the videos I've seen from her, she talks so highly about this series that I was like, I kind of want to read this. So when I saw it for a good price, I was like, fuck this, I'm getting it and I'm gonna like it, and it doesn't matter that I'm moving, I don't care. Yeah. And then finally, two other nonfiction. One is called Life in Code, A Personal History of Technology by Ellen Ullman. I actually think I mentioned this in my mid-year freakout tag last year as like one of the only books that I was looking forward to for the rest of the year, and then I never actually got around to reading it. But this is by a woman in technology. I am a woman in technology, so I would like to get to this at some point. And then finally, I got this book basically because of the author. I really enjoy her on the Slate Political Gabfest and also just her writing in general. She is a professor at Yale Law School, and just I think she also, I want to say, is like writing for the New York Times these days. She's just basically an interesting thinker. And this is Sticks and Stones, Defeating the Culture of Bullying and Rediscovering the Power of Character and Empathy. And basically this is like a journalistic look at the phenomenon of bullying and how different like groups handle it, and like what people can do to reduce bullying. So I'm not sure, I mean it was like $1.50 or $2, which is why I got it, and I like that author, so I don't know. I may or may not ever get to this one. I may end up decluttering it, but I figured it was a low risk proposition. Okay, and finally I have moved to my new neighborhood, and I am delighted to report that I have not one, but two, and almost even a third, because like it's half a record store, half a bookstore, 2 bookstores within walking distance of my apartment / house, townhouse, whatever this is. I am so happy because I could never really found a good bookstore in Charlotte. Like I heard that there was one in Park Road Shopping Center, but I never really could figure out where it was, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm so excited to have 2 bookstores in my neighborhood, and one of them is a used bookstore and one of them is a new bookstore. And so today, right? I don't even know. Time has become so fluid. I went to the new bookstore that is in my neighborhood. It is called, let's see here. It's called Her Bookshop. Very excited. It is adorable and fancy. I'm not sure if I'm fancy enough to actually shop there, but I'm going to anyway because I'm just so excited to have an actual real bookstore near me again. And I picked up a book that I have been knowing that I wanted to read. So that is We Were 8 Years in Power by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I think you guys have heard me talk before pretty glowingly about Between the World and Me. That is a book I really highly recommend. It's a great memoir. And this book is just like timely and relevant, and I'm sad that I didn't get to read it during Black History Month. February ended up being such a cluster. I was wanting to do a lot of reading of like own voices from Black Lives Matter and just generally like Black voices in February, so I'm sad that I didn't get to do that as much as I would have liked, but I am really hoping that I will get to that this year because yeah, I just think he's a really interesting thinker, and it has a very different kind of philosophical place that he's coming from in talking about matters of race relations, which I think is like really important and a good sort of like dissident voice. So I'm excited to read this sometime this year. That's the goal. Whew. So we did it. We made it. That was a journey. I got a lot of books this month, and I guess I should just stop apologizing about it and like live in my truth. I don't think I'll end up with as many this in March. I don't think so, just because there's not as many new releases coming out that I'm really interested in. And I think I'll probably calm down a little bit because I'm going to be in the throes of work of a new job. So we'll see. We shall see. Who knows? I say that every month, and then I end up with like 30 books. So who even knows anymore? But all that to say, that was my February book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below. And I don't think I need to tell you guys anything. So I hope that you guys are just having like a fantastic week, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye.